If you've never paid any attention to any of my videos, I would recommend that you pay attention to this one. It's for the big people, the people who want to achieve things, the people who want house. Yeah, we're going to be talking specifically about home ownership. I am going to be sharing my journey with you, and I do hope this video is helpful for the persons who are looking to purchase a home, or if you're just thinking about it and you have sort of a timeline, then I hope this video is helpful. Okay, so the first thing I recommend whenever you are planning to purchase a home, or it's on your mind, it's something that you've been thinking about, the first thing to get you started is to start researching. So this is where you do your digging. You go on different sites to see what is on the market. You look at different homes to see what you like. And I'm gonna share a few sites that I searched when I was looking for my home. And the first one here is Keller Williams. They come up as soon as you Google houses for sale in Jamaica. So the first one here is kellerwilliamsjamaica.com. Next there is VLARealtors.com. There is Realtor.com. There is Century 21. There is Sagicor Property Services, and of course NHT, where they normally post the different schemes that they're currently working on and the different years that they will be available, the dates that you can apply for the different homes. So when my husband and I decided that we were going to purchase our homes, it was like about 2 years or 1.5 years before he even proposed. We started talking about homes. I remember when we were dating, we would drive all the way to Mandeville, different locations, just to look at homes. And at that time, I was just starting out in the working world. I was still in university and he was still studying but working at the same time. So we were broke. We had no money. We were basically just starting out life, but we still had this on our mind. It's something that we wanted, and so even though the money wasn't there, there was faith, and so we put some action into it and we started to search. At some points, I remember I was like, why is this man even searching when I have no money? Where money I gonna come from? But we still searched. So although you might not have the money now, I would recommend that you start the research. And with this research, you can understand what you could afford in a few years or a few months, depending on your job that you are doing. So it's not impossible. It's something that is possible as long as you put your mind to it. The next thing is to determine your budget. So you need to know what you can afford, and of course this is when you start to save and you start to see the money coming in. So you need to understand your budget. My husband and I am going to be saying that a lot throughout this video. If you don't like it, cock up your ears. We started saving right after our engagement. We were pouring basically all of our pay into this thing. So I'm not gonna tell you what I was earning at that time. Just know it was petty cash. Say I would earn 150. I'm saying that because I don't want it to look too bad, but say I was earning 150, I would save 120 out of that paycheck, and my husband would do the same. Why that was feasible for me is because I was living with my mother. My mother, she's the type of mother who wasn't hard. She wasn't hard on me to say, oh, you need to pay this in the house, you need to pay for that in the house. She knew that I was saving because we expressed it to her, and I was still able to assist in the house as best as I possibly could with the, say, 20 that I had left. And it was really 20, but 150 wasn't what I was getting. We poured that in, and over a certain amount of time we were able to save enough to do, our first payment. But before I get into that, let's continue talking a little bit more about budgeting or budget before I tell you more on that. So whenever you are looking to purchase a home, I would say do not get anything that you cannot afford. And by that I mean it is basically 3 to 5 times your annual household income. So you have to ensure that every month after you pay your mortgage, you still have some money in your pocket where you can save, you can pay your other bill, you have money for recreational activities, like if you want to go out with your friends, or if you feel like you need to go do your nails, or for men, if you feel like you need to go rub down your foot bottom. But you have to ensure that you do not leave yourself broke. Alright, so you will need to get pre-qualified and pre-approved for credit for your mortgage. This allows you to understand how much you can actually spend. So get pre-qualified for your mortgage. And to get pre-qualified is really getting your bank information, like information about assets that you have, what you have in your savings. This is also what determines how much the bank can lend you. So pre-approved involves providing financial documents, statements, pay slips, your bank statements, and this helps the lender to verify your financial status. Next step is to shop around and make an offer. I know I told you guys that my husband and I, we were shopping around long before, but we were looking at lands at the time. And so during the time we were purchasing a home, we were told by our realtor that if we were to purchase a land, say we borrow the money, say we use our NHT, or we get the money from the bank, sometimes the money run out because not everybody can manage money like that when it comes to building a house. So initially we wanted a land, however we were told otherwise. So what we started looking on was homes with big yard space. So we didn't care if the house was like 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom. We didn't care. We didn't want a 5 bedroom anyways. All we wanted to ensure was that we can build on this house and still have space, walking room, because you know a lot of houses in Jamaica, especially those that are being built by NHT, the yard space is not really big and the houses are very close to each other, so your neighbor can hear your business. Yes, we did not want that, and so a home with a huge yard space was very important for us. So we stopped searching for land and we started searching for houses. I think we visited about 6 houses between the time when we started searching and when we got the house. We searched in Kingston, we searched in St. Catherine. We knew the places that we did not want to live at from our research. So another thing I didn't mention earlier is that when you're doing your research and then you're going to decide where you want to live, you have to understand that there are certain places where the prices are going to be much higher, and then there are certain places where the prices are going to be much lower. And then you have to consider your day-to-day schedule. Do you work at home? Do you work in office? How often do you go into office? And also, what's the surrounding area looking like? Is there a market close by, supermarkets, entertainment areas close by? Those are things we considered when we were looking to purchase. So yes, shop around, start touring homes, and ensure that for most of these visits you bring your realtor so that you can get his or her opinions. If you have questions, you can ask your realtor, like, realtor, what do you think about the location of this place? Do you know anything about this community? What do you think about this area? What do you think about this house? How much do you think we could sell it back for if we're going to sell sometime in the future. So those are things you look at. You also want to look at whether there are any damages on the property. Your realtor can point that out to you. During your visits, I would also recommend that you take a lot of pictures of these homes and videos, because you will be visiting quite a number of places. At least I recommend that you visit a few places before you decide, and then you can go back to these videos or pictures and say, oh, I really like this about this place, or you know, I didn't like how this looked. So it helps you to decide whenever it comes to reviewing the properties and making that big decision. After you do your tours and you finally find a home that you like, it is time to put in the offer. And I would suggest that you take your time before you make this decision, because once you put in that offer, once you sign that paper and you get your keys, then that's it. The house is yours, and any problem that comes after that with that house, it is your problem, and it is your money that is going to be spent to fix it. So I would recommend that whenever you go to visit the different houses, you look around, you pay attention, look at the details of every single thing, ask questions. So after you decide that, okay, this is the house, this is the land, this is a property, whatever it is that you're going to purchase, then you say, okay, you go to your realtor and you say, okay, I'm ready to put in an offer for this house. You then work with your real estate agent and you negotiate a fair price that you will be offering based on the value of the home. And before I go any further, whenever you are going to put in an offer, it is important to consider this. Although on the site the property might be going for say $15 million, there are persons who will be bidding for the house for like $60 million. So it's very competitive out there, especially when there's not a lot of good stuff on the market, and especially when this price is very good, when the house is in a good, when it's a perfect house. That's when a lot of persons are going to be putting in offer. So you have to keep that in mind. You're not the only one who is putting in offer to purchase this home, and the person who is selling, they're going to be looking at the best price. So that's something to keep in mind. So say you do get the house, once you and the seller have reached an agreement on a price, the house will go into escrow, which is the period of time it takes to complete all of the remaining steps in the home buying process. And these steps, it includes signing a lot of papers. It includes sometimes going back and forth with the agreement. There might be something in the agreement that you're like, this not sound right, and you have to talk with your lawyer. What our realtor did for us was set us up with a lawyer. Real estate agents, they normally do that for you. At least that's what I believe. I'm not sure, but we got a lawyer, and whenever we had questions about the contract, we would ask her, and if it is that we did not like something, we would ask her if she could negotiate with the lawyer of the person who is selling, basically. And we came across that quite a few times. So it's highly likely that you will see something in the agreement that you do not like or that you question. The next step is to get a home inspection. And once this home inspection is completed, then both you and the buyer will receive the report on the home inspection findings. Depending on what comes up, the seller might have to do some adjustment to the property. Let's say, for example, if there is a breach, then the seller would have to fix that or amend the agreement that you had or the price, so that you can be compensated for what it is that it is going to cost you, the buyer, to fix that. My husband and I, we came across that where the wall, the perimeter wall around our house, it breached. There was a breach. It was far over the line that it was supposed to be, and so we had to knock down that wall. It was very stressful. We came to an agreement with the buyer where they reduced the cost of the property. That money that we didn't pay was supposed to be to fix the wall, basically. So we came to that agreement, and lucky for us, we were able to go through the entire process without fixing the wall, but we had to do it before we got the entire amount of money that we needed to fix up the house. Because remember, I told you that this was not a brand new house. There were things that needed to be fixed, structural problems that needed to be fixed, cracked walls, tiles that needed to be changed. It was a whole lot, and I will be going through all of those experiences in another video. But for this video, I am explaining the steps or the process that we took to purchase our home. Next, you will need to work with a mortgage bank to select your loan or to process your loan. This can be very time consuming, it can be very stressful, it can be a very slow process basically. Throughout our entire buying process, this was the step that lasted the longest. So we waited a really long while before we were approved for our loan. And normally when a person is selling a house, they normally give you like a certain amount of time, like a deadline for you to do the payment. Of course, they understand that you're waiting on the bank to approve your mortgage, and so they give you a good amount of time. So the time they normally give is enough for you to wait on the bank to approve your loan. While you're doing this, our realtor took care of most of this. What she would do is send us the papers for us to sign, and we would just send them back to her. We would send her our information. If you're living in Jamaica, TRN, your ID, all of those identification card information, she would need that. After you select your mortgage and you submit all of your paperwork, and that is being processed, the next step is to get the house appraised. So a valuator would come to the house, look around the property, come inside. Who wouldn't necessarily need to come inside, but they're basically looking at the value of the house. So this person is independent of the bank. They don't work for the bank. You or your realtor would hire this person to come and do the valuation. After they do the valuation, then they would prepare a statement and they would send a copy to both you and the bank. This statement basically would say whether or not you are purchasing the property for a good value. So is the value for the house more than what it is being purchased for, or is it less than what it is being purchased for? After you do your valuation, of course, here comes more paperwork on top of paperwork. So you and your realtor, you will still be communicating a lot. You will still be sending documents back and forth, and your lender will arrange for a title company to handle all of the paperwork and make sure that the seller is the right owner of the property. So after that is confirmed, another step is passed. You can continue to the final step, which is when you close on the sale. So you will sign all the paperwork required to complete the purchase, including your loan documents. Again, more documents to sign, and this normally takes a couple of days for the loan to be funded after the paperwork is returned to the lender. And once the check is delivered to the seller, you're ready to move into your new home. You can collect your keys, and you're a new homeowner now, and time to celebrate. You can take all of your nice pictures, your photo shoot, all of that. You can start refurbishing, you can start demolishing whatever needs to be demolished. If you are fixing up a house, or if you purchased a fixer-upper, then you can start doing the works that you need to do. So that's basically all the steps in a nutshell. I try to cover as much as possible. This process is still kind of complicated to me. Thank God for my partner who understood everything way more than I did and was able to explain most of the things to me. I really hope this helps. And remember, one of the most important things that I mentioned is to really get a realtor. All of this information that I share, you can ask questions and they will basically give you the answers. That's their job, to guide you and to ensure that you get a good property, one that you will be satisfied with after you complete your purchase. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for part 2 where I will be sharing our story. It's one that you have to look out for. We went through so much to get this house. I'll be giving you all the details on all of that. Just stay tuned for it. It will be something. It will be something. It will definitely be something. And